On August 20th, 1989, Mr. Menendez, did you want to kill your parents?
No.
He would guide me, all my movements, and I would have with him.
A few days before, I had said to myself, I am never going to let my father touch me again.
Why did you kill your parents?
Because we were afraid.
And I just saw Dad and Mom as the same person at that point. I saw them as a single person. I'm just a normal kid.
Oh, Eric, you're a normal kid who parents.
Here's P. Diddy's surprising connection to the Menendez brothers. Eric and Lyle's father, Jose, and Diddy's mentor, Clive Davis, both worked at RCA Records. And apparently, Clive Davis did to Diddy what Diddy did to others. I don't know if this is true, but this is what people are saying. And if you have been following the case of Eric and Lyle, you know what their father has done to them and what he's done to others with other people coming forward. At 35 years old, Jose became the executive vice president of Hertz U.S. operations. Later, he was moved to the records division, where he took on the role of chief operating officer. Clive Davis was actually given credit for making Whitney Houston famous. I love Whitney. Rest in peace, she is such a queen. But Clive was the chairman of CEO of RCA from 2002 to 2008. According to Diddy's former bodyguard, Gene Deal, his bad behavior and horrible actions is behavior learned from the people that mentored him, including Clive, Andre Harrell, and Russell Simmons. Diddy's case and the Menendez brothers situation are both getting attention because they both involve people doing bad things to people who are young. There's a psychologist named Jennifer Freyd, and she told USA Today that while there's still a long way to go, she's seen some progress in the last 30 to 40 years and is hopeful that it'll continue. There are definitely comparisons between both of these cases. When Lyle and Eric were going through their first and second trials in the 90s, many people didn't believe what they were saying. Many people believed that they took their father's life for money. But I've talked to many people who actually lived through these trials, real intellectuals who believe that the brothers are telling the truth. Now, they haven't given any problems to anyone in jail. They actually lead group sessions to help other men, and when I looked more into the case, I believe them too. They did take 2 lives, they had to do some time, but in my opinion, they didn't have to be in there for this long if they were telling the truth. And based on new evidence coming out, it really seems like they are. 36 years? After being put through what they were put through at such a young age? The new evidence that came out was when a former member of Puerto Rican boy band Menudo spoke out in 2023 Peacock documentary Menendez plus Menudo. Roy Rosella alleged that he was taken advantage by Jose Menendez when he was 14.
Que eso me estaba tomando cuenta de mi cuerpo, me drogaron.
But there's a powerful movement out now that's trending online to set these guys free. Apparently they went through so much when they were younger that their brains didn't fully develop due to all the years of them going through what they went through. And no one should ever have to deal with what these guys went through. To put things into perspective, guys, if the Menendez brothers were actually the Menendez sisters, don't you think they would have been set free years ago? Why do we turn a blind eye when it's men? They deserve just as much compassion. Now Kim Kardashian's even getting involved and advocating for their release. Kim's words were, "Time changes us," and I doubt anyone would claim to be the same person they were at 18. Even Rosie O'Donnell has become friends with them. They may have spent 36 years locked up, which I honestly think is unfair, but I bet they feel freer now than they ever did when they were kids. Let's be real, they took a life. They definitely need to serve some time. But was 36 years a bit too much? A lot of people think so. So while they were in jail, the Menendez brothers actually got to meet O.J. Simpson during his trial for taking the life of his ex-wife Nicole Brown Simpson and her friend Ronald Goldman. But it wasn't the first time they met O.J. They actually all met mid-1970s. Lyle said he didn't expect to see O.J. in prison for taking a life, so I bet that was quite a shock. After over a decade, just a few months before Kitty and Jose's murders, Lyle and OJ ran into each other again in Los Angeles. OJ was with his tennis teammate from Princeton University. The next and last time they saw each other was in jail, where Eric and Lyle advised OJ about handling his time behind bars. In Lyle's words, he said they were able to talk quite a bit. I watched the series Monsters by Ryan Murphy, and the writing, the acting, everything about it was amazing. But it isn't accurate to what actually happened in real life. And it really paints the brothers in a bad light. Now, Eric went on to talk about the show Monsters and said that it was blatant lies. But Ryan Murphy, who's used to spinning the truth to kind of dramatize things, believes that he's given the brothers so much airtime to talk about their mistreatment that they're now discussed everywhere. He went on to tell Variety that the show was the best thing that happened to the Menendez brothers in 30 years. A lot of people say that Hollywood gave the Menendez brothers a second chance. I think it's obviously not a good feeling when people are giving misinformation about you and it's misleading, but at the end of the day, it ended up being a good thing because the show brought so much attention to the case that it's now being reopened. Emily Ratajkowski, she's even now speaking about this. She spoke about Diddy and the Menendez brothers. Emily said that the reason Diddy was able to hide in plain sight for so long was because many of the people he took advantage of were male, and because our culture views males' mistreatment as extremely emasculating. I actually love her for speaking out about this because it's horrible and it's true. She said she watched a video of one of the Menendez brothers being questioned about if he was into men or women in a decades-old interview because of what his father did to him. She said it was an unfair trial because she feels like there might have been certain biases in the jury, if you catch my drift. Emily said she hopes that more people can talk about this to start healing the narrative that men face in these situations and that more people feel comfortable talking about what they went through. I didn't really know Emily Ratajkowski before reading this, but she definitely seems like an empathetic, beautiful person who's very emotionally intelligent. Also, did you know she briefly dated Pete Davidson? I really do feel for the Menendez brothers. I can't imagine what they went through having to talk about the details of what happened to them in front of the public, and then being judged by so many people who thought that they were lying about what happened. Now, there are people that think Eric and Lyle took the life of their parents because they were about to cut them off financially. I don't think this is true, especially with the new evidence coming out, but a lot of people just think that they were straight up doing this for money. The brothers were convicted in 1996 for taking the life of their parents, Jose and Kitty Menendez. If a judge approves this recommendation, it would make them eligible for immediate parole. Los Angeles County District Attorney George Gascon said he believed that the brothers have paid their debt to society. If a parole board agrees with this, they could be released from prison. Anyone who has met or come across these brothers have had nothing but good things to say about them. So I guess we'll all just have to wait and see what happens.